the
We're moving to
the
Tim Walz's
pandemonium
statements
we saw
now.
for
Governor
George
Tim Walz
Floyd
is
and
releasing
those
a statement.
2020 riots, just in terms of, you know, not only the temperature of the people, but the actual temperature outside.
Governor Walz is going to update the public about the deadly Border Patrol shooting.
Right, for anyone to go ahead and destroy any of these things. I'd imagine that's when we'd see law enforcement and maybe even the Guard again, if we saw.
Among other things, it's a cover-up for the billions of dollars that have been stolen from the once again great state. I think he's utilizing the term cover-up for the record
in this instance
to actually change the cover-up narrative. I think these guys are very dumb, but they know how to manipulate their public. They know how to manipulate their fucking fans. And I suspect that the usage of the term cover up here is deliberate. I suspect that the usage of the term cover up here is specifically because a lot of people say this is a cover up for the Epstein stuff. So Donald Trump is trying to do his classic algorithm change here by claiming this is a cover up. They're using the word cover up as a way to change the algorithm around cover up for Epstein. Okay? Tim Walz has started speaking.
I've seen the videos from several angles, and it's sickening. But I have a strong statement here for our federal government. Minnesota's justice system will have the last word on this. It must have the last word. As I told the White House in no uncertain terms this morning, the federal government cannot be trusted to lead this investigation. The state will handle it, period. Let me say something else, and this is critically important. All of us understand what happened this morning and the tragedy of it, and my deepest sympathies to the family of a 37-year-old Minnesota resident, a lawful firearm concealed permit carrier, something that I've heard been lectured to by Republicans for decades. That is not only your right, it's your duty.
Yeah.
We know that the potential to further inflame tensions is high. And to Minnesotans, there's a difference.
Dude, come on. Stop trying to tell the public to fucking calm down. They're gonna rebel against you too. You don't see the moment. You're not meeting the moment, Tim.
Meeting violence with violence. Minnesota and our local
oh my
law
God, they
enforcement,
spend so much time on the fucking reaction.
Have done everything possible to de-escalate. Local media has reported extensively on the cooperation to de-escalate this situation. Donald Trump, I call on you once again. Remove this force from Minnesota. They are sowing chaos and violence. We've seen deadly violence from federal agents again and again and again. But in contrast to that, on these frozen streets, what you witnessed yesterday was the best of Minnesotans, peacefully exercising their First Amendment rights. And I attended in the church basement hundreds of Minnesotans from all faith packing care packages for families that have been ripped apart. Despite the horrific acts by this federal government, Minnesotans are standing up for the rule of law. They're protesting loudly and urgently, but peacefully. It must stay that way, Minnesota. Minnesotans are witnessing, and we're creating a log of evidence for the future prosecution of ICE agents and officials responsible for this. They're helping their neighbors. They're walking their kids to school. They're feeding families. I salute their courage and their restraint, and I call on all Americans to see the decency that this state is exhibiting and the horrific cruelty, unprofessional, absolute abomination that is passing for what these ICE agents are doing on our streets. They think they can provoke us into abandoning our values. Well, they're dead wrong. We'll keep the peace, we'll secure the justice with our neighbors, and we'll see this occupation ends. Minnesotans and Minnesota law enforcement that continuously is being denigrated by this administration will continue to be the adults in the room, the professionals in the room, the decent human beings in the room that will keep the peace. With this, I'd like to turn it over to Department of Public Safety Commissioner Bob Jacobson to update you on the situation as we know it.
No shot. DHS is investigating it? Come on, dude. Come the fuck on.
Thank you, Governor. I'm Bob Jacobson, Commissioner of Public Safety for the Department.
Local law enforcement needs to start arresting these people. You need to start doing crazy shit. You need to get the fucking National Guard and the
man was
local
shot
law
and killed
enforcement
this morning
with the
in
National Guard's
Minneapolis.
backing to go and apprehend these fucking criminals,
I want
dude.
to pause and remember what
No
cannot get
shot.
lost in this
You need
moment.
to detain these guys.
Man died. His family and friends are feeling unimaginable heartbreak and trauma. And I know Minnesotans and I know our community will rally around this man's family and friends to support him. I also understand clearly that people are upset. They're scared, they're confused, and I want to assure you that this state's public safety officials and our local law enforcement partners are doing everything in our power to get answers, to help return a sense of normalcy back to our communities.
I don't think these guys understand. This is something I stressed to Keith
You have
Ellison
the right to
yesterday.
demonstrate peacefully.
They
We
are
recognize that
they are
demonstrations are often driven
they are losing they're losing the public's confidence in them. And when they lose the public's confidence in them and the public starts thinking, okay, well, if I see an ICE agent, they're going to shoot and kill me. They're going to take matters of self-defense in their own hands. You don't want that happening. Okay. You don't want that happening at all. You guys need to take action. You need to take action right now. You need to detain people. You need to start arresting the ICE agents. You have to start arresting the ICE agents before this gets further out of hand. There is a reason for law and order in this country and in every country, okay? Law and order plays a formative role in the fabric that holds society together, okay? Once that goes away, it's pure anarchy, it's pure chaos. You cannot be this scaredy cat in this moment, okay? You have to protect your constituents. You have to protect your citizens. You have to protect your neighbors. If you don't do your fucking job, and if the local law enforcement is actually too busy gassing the people that are protesting rather than actually helping them, rather than actually apprehending the ICE agents that are killing their neighbors, it's over. It's going to be fucking over. I keep warning. No one is listening.
Well, I spoke twice this morning shortly after I received the call of this shooting. I spoke with the President's Chief of Staff, and first request was to get her people out of there, to get these federal agents out of there. They were going to cause more chaos. And second call is, with no uncertain terms, that we will investigate this. We will not be stonewalled. What we've already seen, and you saw it this morning, before any investigation is done, you have the most powerful people in the federal government spinning stories and putting up pictures and unrelated people who we don't know anything about, and a picture of a firearm to try and spin a narrative. And I ask Americans, this will end when enough Americans say this will end. Do I have any confidence Donald Trump will do the right thing? No, I don't have a lot of confidence.
Then what the fuck are you going to do, you pussy?
I
do
have
something.
A lot of confidence that
Do
the majority
something.
of the
Stop
American
fucking having confidence in Minnesotans. Minnesota nice. Minnesota nice. God damn it, Tim Walz, such a fucking cowardly cuck.
After all the reporting that's been done, after everything that's been said, under the pretense that they are here about immigration reform, and quit referring to these people as law enforcement. They are not law enforcement. We have law enforcement who do an incredible job. And to listen to Greg Bovino denigrate the work of our people who are out there cleaning up their mess, no, I don't have a lot of confidence that he himself will do it. But here's what I do have confidence in. There's a whole lot of Republicans, for whatever reason, cannot find their spine. But they might find the ability to know that they're not going to win another election as long as they live, unless they stand up for what's right and stand up for the rule of law and stand up for human decency, and that's the moment.
So then, just a follow-up, because then if that is not the case, what are the people of Minnesota supposed to do who are in the middle right now? Because if they stonewall and you're trying to investigate, is that forcing?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. And look, I speaking to the people of Minnesota right now, I hear that scream from you, and I'll continue to plead and ask you for peace. And I know the answer is, you ask us for peace and we give it, and we get shot in the face on the streets coming out of a donut shop. We cannot give them what they want. I don't know how to say this in so many terms, to watch the madness that we've witnessed over this last week coming out of the White House and what it's doing here.
Dog,
My confidence is,
they
and I
haven't
say it to
been.
Minnesotans,
They haven't
as
been.
I've said,
The protests have been incredibly lawful up until this moment. This is the peak of civil disobedience. Organized, okay? Show of force, peaceful. They're doing all of that. It's not working. You have to literally get the law enforcement on the side of the population. If you don't get law enforcement agencies, local law enforcement agencies, and state law enforcement agencies to work alongside the National Guard deployment to literally start apprehending ICE agents, people are going to go, you're not defending us. We've been doing the peaceful thing, and they're shooting us in the fucking face. They're shooting us in the fucking face over and over again. What message do you give to the people? What message do you give to the fucking Minnesotans that voted for you and didn't even vote for you but are still frustrated all the same? You tell them you're on your own, okay? It's chaos from that point on. If you want to ensure stability as a local administrator, as a state administrator, you have to start doing real law and fucking order. This message that they keep presenting to their fucking neighbors, to their voters, to Minnesotans is you're on your own. You're on your own. Just be peaceful. You're on your own. Just keep it cool. We're going to fix it. But no fixing is coming.
Agents or public safety, state patrol, or Minneapolis on the ground at that crime scene.
Is that an instruction by the federal government, or did you pull your agents out?
What I will tell you, and not to get further, but just the scene, leaving that to Minnesota State Patrol, Minneapolis, we did not have enough resources to be able to hold that ground safely, and we had to leave that scene because of the number of people that were available and the safety of those in the public and the safety of our teams. We were able to get there, but at that time, we were not able to hold that scene to do a crime scene investigation. I can't talk any more about those details.
Who is handling the investigation, if not either DHS nor state officials right now?
We'll have more on that, but the BCA is engaged and involved, and we are working at the request of the Minneapolis Police Department on this, on the scene and in this investigation. So we are there, we're available. We want to make sure that we continue to work on this and engage with our
Zero chance
federal
any
law
cop is going to break the
enforcement,
thin
but at
blue
this
line and
point,
arrest Fez for doing what they're doing?
We
No.
don't have anything more to share
No.
about the crime scene. Again,
No.
we're not
It
able
don't
to-
matter.
We want to,
It doesn't
make sure
fucking
people are
matter.
safe, but federal law
First of all,
enforcement left the
there
scene.
are still plenty of fucking cops that will follow the orders that are given to them. That's number one. Number two, I don't think you understand. Cops are being fucking detained by ICE. There are black and brown police officers that are being detained. Hennepin County Sheriff's Office is fucking complaining that their black off-duty cops are getting detained by ICE. Okay? You're wrong. There's a precedent for this. There's a legal precedent for this. As Keith Olsen was explaining, there was a legal precedent for this before the Constitution was written, and certainly a legal precedent for this after the Constitution was written. What I am saying is, what I'm demanding from our agents is a little bit of gamesmanship, a little bit of legal gamesmanship, okay? I'm expecting them to, at the very least, behave like right-wingers do. Right-wingers, when there is, under the Biden administration, would literally not shy away from doing crazy things, breaking the actual fucking law. Breaking the actual law. Like, Governor Greg Abbott in Texas and Ron DeSantis literally trafficked undocumented migrants across borders. That was illegal, and the administration didn't do fucking dick about it, okay? Just as an effort to make a statement, as an effort to universalize the problem, or to like deliberately make an issue out of undocumented migrants by trafficking them to states without giving them prior notice, prior clearance. Anyway, let's listen to the National Guard here.
To respond in a much rapid manner than if they were not mobilized. So we have a request from the Hennepin County Sheriff to support them, and that is to help them free up additional resources for other work that they need to do. And we have started coordinating with them this morning on that, and that first area of support will be assisting them with their requirement to provide security to the Whipple building. So we'll be helping them there. And then we are in parallel planning with other organizations within the state of Minnesota, to include the State Patrol, the Minnesota DNR, and other local agencies to render assistance if requested.
Could you say how many are now deployed?
I would say that the number that we have is adequate for the requests that we have right now, and I will also tell you that we are bringing more resources that will be able to respond in a timely manner that are not fully mobilized yet, but we are mobilizing more soldiers as we talk at this time. I'd like not to get into specific numbers for an operational security standpoint, but right now we have all the resources to meet the requests that we have.
I would note on this one, too, that we'll be billing the federal government for the cost of the National Guard because they are incurring the costs that are falling on us by their reckless actions. Yes, sir.
You alluded to this earlier, but are you rejecting the narrative that has been presented by federal officials that this man, this 37-year-old citizen of Minneapolis, posed a threat to these agents? And are you rejecting the idea that he played some role with his weapon in leading to
I'm rejecting the rush to judgment within 15 minutes of this, which they did last time. That's why you need to have a fair investigation. And that's why a video can show one thing, but what happened beforehand. But they already will slander this individual. They've already made this the case. And I will just say you will all start to see it, and some of you probably have. There's multiple angles of this. And I'll go back to what we talked about before. They're telling you not to trust your eyes and ears, not to trust the facts that you're seeing in front of them. And at some point in time, your reporting, and I think the reporting this week has been spectacular across Minnesota, that there's not two sides to every story. But in this situation, what I'm saying is we need to have a fair investigation, understanding what's happening, and held accountable. We continue to hear, and we heard it from the vice president, that these folks can do whatever they want. They can have full immunity. And what I'm telling you is they will not. There will be justice to Minnesotans. Continue to gather the information. So I won't say where it is, because I think it's irresponsible to make that judgment. But what I see with my eyes and what you're going to see with your eyes makes that pretty hard to believe. And I would imagine as a federal officer, they would have come out and sounded like these professionals sound and say, we need to gather the information, we need to gather all the facts, we need to put them forward, and then we can make some informed decision based on the fact. They've written the narrative already. And the audacity to critique the police chief of Minneapolis after what work that those heroic officers are trying to do, and to be critiqued by this guy, I mean, I don't know, I've said it a lot, but America, as you're listening, enough is enough. Enough is enough of this. End this. End this. And we see them moving to Maine. If you're in Boston, you're in Chicago, you're in Philly, you're in Miami, it doesn't matter. We can't live like this. Our children are in trauma. A 5-year-old, you saw the picture, the bunny hat and the Spider-Man. Is there not like some narrative to throw around, to parade around in some coat you had made and act like you're a tough guy or whatever? These are people's lives, and we have rule of law. So I'll let the investigation play itself out. We will do our best to find it, but I don't know, you kill a man and then you just leave, your law enforcement, you just leave him. Is there a single case in America's history where you just like walk away and say, I guess that just happened and we're not going to clean up our mess? I'm proud of Minnesotans. I'm proud of law enforcement here and our partners, and we'll get to the bottom of it. I think we have time for another one. So, yes, ma'am.
Bring number with you guys to GM 5. Vice Commander just said in press conference within the hour that they're calling on state and local law enforcement to, quote, help coordinate to get violent criminals off the street. What's your response to that, please?
I'm better off to let these guys, the professionals. I have my thoughts.
So the question was,
all
what
hollow,
are we doing to assist
hollow
federal
words.
law enforcement on getting violent criminals off the street, if I understand the question?
Greg Levino said that in press conference. He was calling on
Ridiculous.
and local law enforcement. So what is your response to that?
State and local law enforcement are always ready and willing and able to arrest violent offenders. We do not stand down from that, no matter where we get that information from. If there are violent offenders or violent criminals or violent crimes, we will investigate and we'll bring those to justice. If the federal government would like to work with us, to continue to work with us as they have in the past, to locate those violent offenders, we are always open to those discussions and always willing to assist. We do not ignore that. We are ready and able, and we do that. All of you as part of the media hear us arresting violent offenders all the time. We have not stood down. That is our mission. The federal government is not alone in arresting violent offenders. State and local law enforcement does that every day at great risk to their life, at great risk to the community. We do it because we want a safe Minnesota, and the federal government is not the only one to do that.
Ross wrapping up a press conference right now. You can see emotions were running high. He said he hopes that this is the event that people say enough is enough. Gave a lot of information there.
One thing that I want to point out is something that Caroline talked with you earlier this morning and Reg on set about was the BCA being locked out of the Renee Good investigation, and what will this be like this time around? And we heard that the BCA is engaged in an investigation at the request of MPD, but that, and this was interesting, that DHS...
Bro. I don't think these motherfuckers understand what's going on, okay? I'm talking to the people out here. I'm seeing it with my own two fucking eyes. I've been at the goddamn demonstrations. These people are straight up oblivious, okay? They are oblivious. They do not understand that they are so fucking out of touch and out of step with where people are at right now. They do not get it. They do not get it at all. This is not heading somewhere good, okay? This is heading somewhere very, very bad. This is a fucking powder keg, and it is slated to explode in the absence of local law enforcement, local courts, state prosecutors, local investigators actually trying to restore law and order. These guys' instructions manual, 5-volt power bank. Stop before using any Action Heat product. Please read and adhere to all enclosed instructions. Fuck. There's like 8 different warnings up in this bitch. You put a battery bank in your socks, dude. Isn't that crazy? Okay, these have very little juice in them right now. You put the battery bank in the sock, and then you press these buttons when the battery bank is in it, and it lights it up. I can't believe the amount of fucking shit that you need to do to exist out here, man. Fucking Murderapolis.
Wrestle to the ground. There's a struggle on the ground that lasts about 20 seconds. At least half a dozen agents surround him. Again, you hear the gunshots and agents leave. Now, at no point in any of those videos do we see what appears to be a firearm in that man's hand. Instead, he appears to be holding a phone. There are some angles that suggest that something has fallen out of his pockets or is otherwise recovered by agents during all those struggles on the ground. But from the videos that we were reviewing, Frank, we never see a gun in that man's hands.
Video, the guy that gets pushed that's helping the woman, is that the man who's eventually going to be shot? Because if we can, I'll have our director roll that back again. Is that what you're saying?
To the best of our understanding, yes. Now, of course, we don't have anyone with Minneapolis police or DHS confirming that that is the 37-year-old individual who was shot and killed. But based on all of the videos that we were seeing, these different angles, based on the colored jacket he's wearing, the hat that he's wearing, that does appear to be the man holding a cell phone, not a gun.
So I wonder where the weapon comes from, because here we can see he's trying to hold on to the woman. Then the agents separate him from the woman, and they have him on the ground. So we're watching it here for a second, Connor.
Sure, absolutely.
That's what you're seeing right there is 37-year-old registered nurse. 37-year-old registered nurse Alex Preddy. Okay? Who has a license as a law-abiding citizen, who has a concealed carry permit. Okay, and you don't see the gun at all, but what he's doing in that moment is 37-year-old Alex Preddy, the man killed by federal agents today in Minneapolis, appears to have been a registered nurse, an athlete, a son, a brother with ties to Colorado and Wisconsin. Okay? That man died protecting Minnesotans. Protecting Minnesotans from a rogue agency. Protecting Minnesotans from a violent agency that is at the direction of the federal government, assassinating regular people, just Minnesotans in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He died a hero. Fucking insane.